I raised my glass at the corporate party and smiled. Everyone was looking at me, including my boss, who thought he had won. "Let's raise a toast to Mr. Greenwood," I said. "The man who took all my ideas, and, according to the reports, $5 million from the company." Dead silence fell over the room. I still remember my first day at Horizon Innovations. The sprawling glass building with its sleek modern design had impressed me, but not as much as the company's reputation for innovation and growth. The lobby featured awards and accolades, testament to their meteoric rise in the tech industry over the past decade. I was buzzing with ideas, eager to prove myself and make my mark. "Welcome aboard, James," Richard Greenwood said, his firm handshake and broad smile exuding confidence as he welcomed me to his corner office overlooking the Boston skyline. "Your portfolio impressed everyone on the hiring committee. We have high expectations." At 42, Greenwood was everything I aspired to be: successful, respected, wealthy. His office walls displayed photos of him with tech luminaries and politicians. Awards lined his bookshelves. The Harvard Business School diploma hung prominently behind his desk. He had built Horizon from a small startup to a company valued at over $1 billion. "I won't let you down, sir," I promised. He laughed and clapped my shoulder. "Richard, please. We're informal here. That's how innovation thrives: open communication, no barriers." For the first 6 months, it was everything I'd dreamed of. I worked directly under Richard on the company's new market expansion strategy. My ideas were well received. My proposals moved forward. Late nights at the office became routine as I fine-tuned presentations and forecasts. The work was challenging but fulfilling. "You've got real potential, James," Richard would say, reviewing my work. "Keep this up, and you'll go far here." The project that would change everything came 9 months into my tenure. The digital healthcare market was booming, and I identified an opportunity to position Horizon as the leading software provider for predictive patient care. I called it Pulse, an AI-driven platform that could revolutionize how hospitals allocated resources and predicted patient outcomes. I spent weeks researching, gathering data, building financial models. I even reached out to my college roommate, now a surgeon at Massachusetts General, for insights on pain points in hospital management systems. Late nights became all-nighters. My apartment became a secondary office, walls covered with sticky notes and printouts. When I finally presented the concept to Richard, his eyes lit up. He leaned forward in his chair, nodding enthusiastically as I walked through the market analysis, technical specifications, and revenue projections. This could be transformative, James," he said when I finished. "Not just for Horizon, but for healthcare itself. So you think we should move forward with it?" I asked, trying to contain my excitement. "Absolutely. But let's keep this between us for now. I want to polish it before presenting to the board." He gathered my documents. "I'll safeguard these. In this industry, ideas get stolen all the time." I left his office walking on air. This could be my big break, the project that would cement my position at Horizon and accelerate my career. I was too excited to notice the subtle shift in Richard's behavior over the next few weeks. The regular check-ins became less frequent. My meeting invites were often declined due to his packed schedule. "Richard's just busy with the quarterly reports," his assistant explained when I tried to schedule time with him. "He said to tell you he's still reviewing your proposal." 3 months passed. The excitement of my breakthrough gradually gave way to unease. Until one evening, I was having drinks with Marcus Chen, our account executive who handled hospital networks across New England. "The Pulse platform is brilliant," Marcus said casually, sipping his bourbon. "The demo I saw last week blew everyone away." I nearly choked on my drink. "Demo? What demo?" Marcus looked confused. "The one Richard presented to Massachusetts General. They're already talking about a pilot program." My stomach dropped. Richard presented it? Yeah. He's been working on it for months, apparently. The board just approved an 8-figure development budget. Marcus studied my face. Wait, weren't you on the team? I thought for sure you'd be involved since you handle that market sector. I forced a smile. Right, of course. I just didn't know about the demo. That night, I couldn't sleep. I told myself there must be a misunderstanding. Richard wouldn't just take my idea and cut me out. There had to be an explanation. The next morning, I came in early and used my security clearance to access the project database. There it was, Project Pulse. But my name appeared nowhere in the documentation. Instead, the concept was credited entirely to Richard Greenwood. My market analysis, my technical specifications, even my financial projections, all there, with minor modifications, under his name. I felt physically ill. Months of work, my breakthrough idea, simply appropriated as if I'd never existed. I scrolled through the files, looking for any acknowledgement of my contribution. Nothing. I printed key documents and went straight to his office, but his assistant stopped me. He's in meetings all day preparing for the healthcare conference in Chicago, she said. The what? The National Healthcare Innovation Summit. Richard's giving the keynote, announcing Horizon's new Pulse platform. I retreated to my desk, mind racing. The summit was the biggest healthcare tech event of the year. Richard would be presenting my work to industry leaders, investors, and media. My breakthrough would become his triumph, his ticket to even greater acclaim. I considered my options. Human resources. The board. But it would be my word against his, and he had already documented everything under his name. Going public. I'd signed ironclad NDAs when joining Horizon. Legal action. The company had resources to bury me in litigation for years. That evening, I was about to leave when I received an email from Richard. It was company-wide, proud to announce that Horizon will be unveiling our revolutionary Pulse platform at next week's healthcare summit. This represents months of my research into how we can transform patient care through predictive analytics. My research. My ideas. My future. I stayed late that night, alone in the office, trying to process the betrayal. Around midnight, desperate for any evidence of my work on the original project, I accessed the server archives using my IT department credentials. What I found changed everything. While searching for my original Pulse files, I discovered something else: financial records showing unusual payment patterns. Large consultancy fees to companies I'd never heard of. Invoices for services that didn't match any known projects. Money flowing in convoluted patterns through shell corporations. I wasn't an accountant, but even I could see something was wrong. I downloaded the files and spent the weekend analyzing them. The pattern became clear: Richard Greenwood had been systematically siphoning company funds through fake consultancy contracts and bogus service providers. Based on my rough calculations, the total approached $5 million over 3 years. Monday morning, I sat in my cubicle staring at the evidence on my screen, unsure what to do. That's when Richard stopped by, his smile as confident as ever. "James. How was your weekend?" He perched on the edge of my desk. "Enlightening," I managed. He nodded, oblivious to my tone. "Listen, I wanted to let you know that I've been impressed with your work ethic. After the healthcare summit, I'm putting together a new team for the Pulse rollout. I'd like you on it." He was offering me a position on my own project. The audacity was breathtaking. "That's generous of you," I said carefully. "We take care of loyal team players here." He winked. "Speaking of which, the company holiday party is this Friday. Big celebration, we just closed our most profitable quarter ever." As he walked away, an idea began to form. The holiday party. The entire company would be there. Executives, board members, investors. And Richard would be in the spotlight, celebrating his stolen success and hidden fortune. It was perfect. I spent the next 4 days gathering more evidence, organizing it meticulously. I spoke with IT about helping with the presentation setup for the party. I contacted a friend at the SEC about hypothetical financial fraud scenarios. I even sent an anonymous tip to the Boston Globe's investigative team, giving them just enough to be interested but not enough to run a story, yet. Friday evening arrived. The grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton was decorated with tasteful holiday displays. An open bar kept glasses filled. A jazz quartet played softly in the corner. Everyone was in high spirits, celebrating another successful year. Richard worked the room masterfully, accepting congratulations for the Pulse platform's early success at the summit. The board had already greenlit full development based on the overwhelming industry interest. Around 9 o'clock, Richard clinked his glass for attention. The music stopped. The crowd turned toward him expectantly. "What a year it's been," he began, his voice carrying across the hushed room. "Horizon continues to redefine what's possible in our industry. Our stock price has never been higher. Our client list has never been more prestigious. And with innovations like the Pulse platform, our future has never been brighter." Applause rippled through the crowd. Richard raised his glass higher. "To Horizon, and to all of you who make our success possible." Everyone drank. As the applause faded, I stepped forward, glass in hand. "If I may," I said loudly, "I'd like to propose another toast." Richard turned, surprised but still smiling. "Of course, James. The floor is yours." I raised my glass, meeting his eyes directly. "To Richard Greenwood," I said clearly. "A man of remarkable creativity." His smile flickered slightly, sensing something off in my tone. "Richard has shown us all what's possible when you have vision," I continued, moving toward the small stage. "The vision to see opportunity where others don't. The vision to recognize valuable ideas." I paused. "Even when they're not your own." The room grew quieter. Richard's smile stiffened. "The Pulse platform has been called revolutionary," I said. "A breakthrough in healthcare technology that will transform patient care while generating millions in revenue for Horizon." Richard nodded cautiously, unsure where I was going but not wanting to appear concerned. "It's fascinating how innovation works," I continued. "For months, I developed that exact platform. Created the specifications. Built the financial models. Even named it Pulse." I took another step forward. Imagine my surprise when I found all my work had somehow become Richard's brainchild. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Richard's face darkened. "James, this isn't the time or place." "But creativity isn't limited to technology, is it, Richard?" I pressed on. "You've been equally creative with company finances." I nodded to the IT manager at the back of the room. The lights dimmed, and the large screen behind me illuminated with financial documents. Account numbers. Transfer records. Falsified invoices. "Let's raise a toast to Mr. Greenwood," I said, raising my glass higher. "The man who took all my ideas, and, according to these reports, $5 million from the company." Dead silence fell over the room. Richard's face drained of color. This is absurd. Complete fabrication." He turned to the crowd, looking for allies. "This is slander. He's delusional, bitter about being passed over for promotion." I kept my voice calm. "The SEC doesn't think it's a fabrication. Neither does the forensic accounting team that reviewed these documents yesterday." I gestured to a serious-looking man by the door who nodded confirmation. "And neither does Detective Ramirez from the Financial Crimes Division." On cue, several police officers entered from the side doors. Richard's composure cracked. He looked frantically around the room, seeing shocked faces, disappointed executives, and approaching officers. This is a misunderstanding, he insisted, voice rising. These are complicated financial matters that look irregular out of context. Detective Ramirez stepped forward. Mr. Greenwood, we'd like you to come with us to answer some questions regarding allegations of embezzlement and financial fraud. Richard lunged toward me, fury replacing fear. You little snake. You think you've won? You're nothing. No one would have looked twice at your mediocre idea without my influence behind it. Two officers restrained him as he continued shouting. The crowd watched in stunned silence as Richard Greenwood, visionary, leader, thief, was escorted from the ballroom, still hurling threats and accusations. I stood alone in the aftermath, the taste of victory not quite as sweet as I'd imagined. The board chairman approached me, his expression grave. We'll need to discuss everything. All of it. First thing Monday morning. The next week was a blur of meetings with executives, law enforcement, and lawyers. I provided all my evidence, walked through the timeline of events, explained how I'd stumbled upon the financial irregularities. An external audit confirmed my findings. Richard had embezzled approximately $4.7 million over 3 years. As for Pulse, I presented my original documentation, proving I was the creator. The board apologized for the unfortunate situation and assured me the company would make things right. 2 weeks after the holiday party, I was called to the chairman's office. Richard's name had already been removed from the door. The office had been cleared of his personal items. James, the chairman said, gesturing me to a seat. The board has made some decisions in light of recent events. I nodded, waiting. We're appointing you as the new head of healthcare innovation, with full credit and leadership of the Pulse platform. I should have felt elated. Instead, I felt hollow. And Richard? Facing multiple federal charges. The company is cooperating fully with authorities. I nodded again. The board was impressed with your diligence, both in developing Pulse and uncovering the financial improprieties, the chairman continued. Though your methods were unconventional, you demonstrated integrity and commitment to the company's well-being. As I left the chairman's office, my new office, I passed Richard's former assistant packing her things. She couldn't meet my eyes. I wondered how much she had known. That evening, as I was working late, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You'll regret this. This isn't over. Everyone has secrets, James. Even you. I stared at the message, recognizing the threat for what it was. Richard might be down, but he clearly wasn't out. He had connections, resources I didn't know about. And he had nothing to lose now. My victory had come at a price. I'd exposed a powerful man, made him an enemy for life. I'd achieved justice, but at what cost to my future security? As I looked around my new corner office with its view of the Boston skyline, I wondered if the price of justice was always this high, and who would ultimately pay it.